Back with me is Sheriff Joe Arpaio from Maricopa County, Arizona. How you doing, sir? Arpaio, sorry.
Good.
Arpaio. I want to get that right. I want to get your name right. I apologize for that. So here we are talking about this illegal immigrant journalist who managed to get himself published. An illegal immigrant spoke at the Democratic National Convention. So it seems clear that the federal government has some political reason for not cracking down on illegal immigrants, no matter how big the problem gets.
Well, you know, the Supreme Court ruled in our favor here in Arizona on 1070 that cops can ask for their identification. Okay, that's great. But what does Homeland Security do? They give orders to the local ICE agents that you're not going to pick them up unless it's a serious crime or they just came from the border. So you have to let them go. I've ran into that 2 times, but you know what? I transport them to the Border Patrol. If ICE won't take them, I'm not going to kick them out on the street, so we're bringing them to the Border Patrol. So this is a form of backdoor amnesty by circumventing the Supreme Court decision, by going into an internal policy by the federal government without going through Congress and giving them amnesty in an election year. This is an election year that we're talking about.
Now, let me ask you this. Flipping the script here for a second. Before the break, we talked about gun laws, drug laws, other federal laws that local law enforcement officers are expected to uphold. What would be the repercussions or the ramifications from the Department of Justice or the FBI if your department was knowingly not arresting people? You might have pulled them over for speeding and there was a cache of illegal weapons, but you said, hey, that's for the federal government. We're just pulling them over for speeding. Or if you got a domestic disturbance call and there were drugs in the house, you said, well, hey, we're here for the domestic disturbance. We knew there were drugs there, but we didn't think it was our job. What would happen to you and your deputies if you knowingly ignored federal gun and drug laws?
Well, fortunately, we have state laws on those types of crimes, so we'll throw them in state court and state prison. But the point is we should all be working together with the feds and the locals and get the job done, regardless if you're going to federal court or state court. But, you know, you were right when you said discretion. Yeah, what discretion? They'll take any type of case we have, whether it's bank robberies or so on, but they avoid the cooperation when you're talking about illegal immigration. Because it's a political issue. Nobody wants to face it on both sides of the fence. I'm not talking about the border. I'm talking about politics. And it's sad. So maybe next year we'll get something done about it from the White House and Congress.